welcome to everybody again. I would like to present what we have been working on so far. And I have put together, or we've put together some things, first some general things for the people who are not in that badge project, and then later on, I would like to talk about what concrete, precise things we have already done. Okay, so there will be a short presentation first, and then we've prepared some questions for you, and we have arranged a Padlet, thanks to Wilma for lighting the fire, so that everybody can type something in there and that we have something to take home, finally. Okay, so, and I'm also going to tell you later on why we have chosen this picture. Right, so the first thing, our topic is developing sustainable writing skills, and we thought that it would be a good idea, as we are all teaching engineers, to compare this to a mining process. So I've put those things here, and in every mining process there is exploration, and we have been exploring quite a lot over the past few weeks and months, and here I would like to give a short intro into the status quo. So where are we right now? The next will be excavation. We have started to dig, right? We are digging for the best in our students, of course, and try to get a bit closer to our goal with this sub-project. Goni is then speaking about deep hole drilling and starting to hoist the most precious things, hopefully. We don't know when this will happen, but very soon, I hope. Okay, and finally, Goni is also speaking about leaving a transformed landscape. Like in every mining process, there is something that has changed, hopefully. Okay, then let's go on with the next. And well, the first is then exploration, our status quo. And for everybody who is not within this badge project, just who we are, and I've put us in here. So, and we have been working with each other quite well. So actually we have found each other, and well, we share the same kind of humor, which is very important for successful project work. Right, so what are the needs? What are we talking about? So when we approached this topic, we thought about who we are actually teaching. So the two of us teach bachelor students, masters. You can see what levels they are and what time we have actually. And it's for both of us, just one semester that we can spend with academic writing, and 13, 14 times per semester, and then with 90 minutes each. So we spoke about materials and came up with the idea, are there materials for academic writing? Yes, there are many, and there's a lot of stuff that you could use, but are they flexible? Not really, and I'm going to tell you later on why we found out about this. And the third thing is, are they dealing, or do they deal with engineering ethics, which we would like to put in as a subject topic? No, at least not that we knew of. And therefore, we came up with some ideas. There are the key data, and we thought about 5 teaching or learning modules containing 3 to 5 projects each, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. It should provide enough material for one semester, and what is very important and has been mentioned already is adaptability and flexibility. And yeah, I would like to show you what our modules look like. We came up with some questions as titles, and you are very much invited to come up with some other catchy titles, because we do not want to name it citation or so, which sounds a bit boring. And therefore we thought about, okay, that would probably be better to have some catchy titles, and please feel free to contribute here. So perhaps we have some very creative minds among us, would be very nice. So the second is about engineering ethics. So we've thought about, okay, how can we put this topic in? And so there are, of course, different books and texts that we could use for learning about research strategies and applying all those things as a stimulus for writing. And then we also discussed this topic of copyright issues. And we thought about this as well. And and our idea was then giving our students links and abstracts for material, for books which are available in our library, so that they can approach them or access them individually. So this wouldn't leave us with copyright issues. So if we just told them, okay, look, there is a book, its DOI is this and that, it's available in our library, just go and download. We won't have any problems with that. And we could ask them to work with those things individually. Materials that we would also like to use are case studies, ethics case studies, and there are some very, very good websites which also offer free case studies, and also the National Technical University of Athens, where Goni is from, provides or has already devised some case studies that we could make use of as material. So yeah, what is then the method? So what we would like to have finally, or in the end, is some kind of teacher's resource book. So we haven't thought about that too much. We would also like to provide teaching tips, so around the matter of writing, and downloadable material. Okay, so then we have the next one. After exploring, we started to excavate. And we have created a mine site design and would like to introduce a sample module to you right now. And we have chosen that one here. Whose words should I use? We do not want to give them numbers. We were thinking about this, but because it should be very flexible, everybody should be able to pick the module they would most like or need in a particular situation, and therefore we haven't decided how we should do this. At first, we have just those modules, but perhaps you have a good idea later on. So whether we should give them numbers, but this looks like having to go through one after the other. So this would probably not be a good idea. So as I said at the beginning, there are 3 projects in each module, and in the sample module, whose words should I use? We agreed on this here at first. Project A deals with ethics in academic writing, and we want to speak about academic ethos, plagiarism as a big topic. Then, because we have already experimented a little bit in our groups, and we have worked with students already and tried some things successfully, and we found out that it might be a bit problem that our students deal with fears of unintended plagiarism. And perhaps you know this from your classes. And what we want to do next to those links for material from our libraries is, and it has been mentioned already as well, we would like to use authentic examples from students. So we make them write texts, of course, in our classes, and we would like to use those texts and exploit them for further classes. And we have also tried this already in both Goni's and my classes, and it works well. So let's go on. Project B could look like this. Working with sources is a big thing. So, and you can read what could be in there, and we will want to fill those things with life. Then we have already started with some things, but we thought about that it would not be applicable here to give things that are too much detailed. Okay, and the third project could look like this. You can read the title yourself, and the final thing, they're bringing it all together, which is probably the most complicated ever. So then let's go on, and I would like to hand over to Goni, who drills deeply into the matter.
Okay, so shall share my screen, or you can do this.
You just give me a hint and I'll
I don't need to
move
share
on.
my screen. Okay, good. So what I would like to add to what you have just said is that the approach to the design of each of these modules is modular, which means they are independent, and students and teachers will be able to choose and really practice those skills they need only. So we were thinking of something like a sort of find my needs, design my course, whatever. We have not, the names are not final, feature which allows students and teacher to choose the areas they know they need practice in. So it's a sort of mix and match approach to the design of the whole thing. So the excavation area is the theory. Let's say the theory where students become familiar with these issues and they learn through actual student answers. And then the deep hole drilling is the application area where they put into practice what they've learned, which means here they work with genres. So the idea here is that after understanding what academic writing is, what it involves, and working with real problems in the sample answers, then they should be much more informed and better equipped really at tackling actual tasks and practicing different writing types. So it's not really a linear model. Students can come straight to this area, of course. They don't have to go through everything through the theory. So what is going on in deep hole drilling? Let me give you an example. If this is used as a self-study tool, a student could ideally log in, say, okay, I've done my research, now I need to write my diploma thesis, but I don't really know how to do this. I don't know anything about the structure. My supervisor has given me some guidelines, but she's really busy. I don't want to keep asking her questions for clarifications. So what am I supposed to do? This is one scenario. So here they could find all the structure, the tools, the methods, the pitfalls, anything they need in order to write a particular genre. Or let's say I have a presentation in a week. How can I prepare? So what is important to keep in mind here, I think, and here you can see some of the genres we have come up with. How to write my diploma thesis, how to write a research article, how to give a presentation, and so on and so forth. So these are not definite yet, but these are some of the basic writing types that students need in an academic setting. We will come back to this because this is one of the questions we have prepared. What is important, I think, to keep in mind is that students, we will have two sort of general groups. Students who are experienced in this, students who get support from their supervisors and in their universities, in that they have relevant classes, and students who don't, who have no academic writing classes, and so this should help both groups of students. So now, once the students have gone through the theory, they've done some writing types, how are the experienced students and the teachers as well going to get help from this tool? So this is where we go into the other module, the other area, the transformed scenery area, which is for experienced students, because they get support from their university or a writing center in their university, or they are experienced because they've gone through excavation and deep hole, and what they need is a way to sustain their skills. Remember, the title of this IO is Sustainable Writing Skills. So how do they sustain the skills they've learned so far? This is the question of the transformed scenery area. So sustainability means different things for different groups, and this is what we will work on in this area. So this is an area for teachers who will be supported in their classes with extra material like quizzes, icebreakers, recap material, and so on. and also for students who want to get an overview of things they've learned and they want to revise, they want to find extra tips, they want to find revision worksheets or other material that will allow them to get a sort of overview of what they've learned and move on. Yeah. So this is the general idea of the three areas: the excavation, the deep hole, and the transformed scenery. So now the questions we have for the breakout rooms are these question marks, so what types of texts do your students have to write? So questions 1 and question 3. So RMS, Research Management Systems, Citavi, EndNote, blah, 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 blah. Questions 1 and 3 are actually quantitative questions. So in the Padlet that we will give you the link on in the chat. So in the Padlet, it would be good to get some answers, quick answers from everyone about the texts your students write and about the RMSs you're using, if you're using an RMS, and if your students are encouraged to use it or taught to use it. So these are not really questions to discuss in the breakout rooms. The questions to discuss really are 2 and 4. What is the meaning of sustainability in teaching? How do you understand sustainability? How do you, what are some sort of tips or skills or ways in which you can sustain writing skills you have already learned? And let's say, as is the case at NTUA and at many universities probably, that students learn academic writing in their 4th semester and they have to write their diploma thesis in their, final semester. So you have 3 years in between. Yeah, so 3 or 4 years sometimes. So how do you sustain these skills? Yeah, and this tool, I think, is a great tool for actually doing this. And the other question is, one of the things we wanted to connect in some way is ethics, ethical issues, and academic writing. There is the ethical issue of academic ethos in general and ethics involved in sort of avoiding plagiarism. Okay, but what other ethical issues, what other connections can you see between academic writing and ethics? This is another question for the breakout room. So I would say, Yuta, do you agree? I would say that 1 and 3 are quantitative questions for everyone, and 2 and 4 are questions for the breakout rooms.